Hey caregivers, it's Nurse Abalori here from Caregiver Zen House, and I just wanted to come to you really quick with a quick word. And I'm outside, so if you guys hear some strange noises, then you know I'm outside. So I'm trying to record when the trash truck and all is gone, but hey, it is what it is. But today I was doing my studies, and in my studies, with my morning meditation, prayer, and journaling, I decided to look up in the Bible and in the concordance about the word sadness, depression, or the word sadness, depression, despair. And I kind of wanted to talk about some things that we as caregivers can do to combat sadness and despair in times where you're feeling down. I don't particularly like to use the term depression because that is a clinical term, and there are certain criteria that go along with the term depression that may not always apply in our situations. And the reason why I say that is because most of us who are saddened or who feel disheartened or feel at times we may be in some sort of despair, we aren't truly depressed. We are just in our feelings because of the things that that is happening to us, that has happened to us, or that is currently we're currently in the midst of some circumstances that are not favorable toward us as caregivers. And so I was looking at 1 Samuel, and it is actually 1 Samuel 16, starting at verse 14, going all the way to verse 23. And it was at a time where Saul was feeling a little depressed, as they said it in the Bible. It says, "But the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and a distressing spirit from the Lord troubled him." So he went from the Spirit of the Lord, probably of happiness, joyfulness, all of a sudden he went into a form of distress. And that's why I wouldn't really call it depression. He was distressed, and it could have been many reasons why he was distressed, specifically in this passage, but just in overall terms, he was in distress. And so the normal spirit that he probably had was now upon him, a spirit of distress. And in the spirit of distress, he needed an outlet. He needed something to get him out of that distressing spirit and put him back into the spirit of the Lord. And so one of his comrades, and I'm putting this in layman's terms, one of his servants, one of his comrades suggested that he needed, quote unquote, some music. He needed to find a person who was skillful in playing the harp to get him out of this distressing spirit that he was in. And so it was said that so Saul said to his servants, "Provide me now with a man who can play well and bring him to me." So once they decided to bring him a person who actually was the son of Jesse, they brought David to him because David was skillful in playing the harp. And so towards the end, it says, "And so it was, whenever the Spirit from God was upon Saul, that David would take a harp and play it with his hands." And so what that basically is saying, that whenever Saul felt distressed, or if he felt despair, or he felt a spirit that was not from God or of God, he would request David, and David would play the harp. Then Saul would become refreshed and well, and the distressing spirit would depart from him. For you caregivers, what that means essentially is, if you find yourself in a minute of where you're feeling stressed out, where you're feeling distressed, when you're in a moment of despair, when you're sad, turn on some music. Turn on some soft playing, some melodious music, some gospel music, some worshiping music, and listen to it. Music does wonders for the soul. It does wonders for our spirit. It puts us in a much happier place and happier times. And usually by the time we are listening to this music, depending on what you're listening to, you were singing the words to this music. Next thing you know, all your sorrows and all your distresses and all your troubles have pretty much disappeared. I wouldn't say that they are not there, but because you've decided to focus your energy on something more happier, something more positive, that distressing spirit is now in the back of your mind. Now, does that mean that the issues that you're facing is now away from you? No, it simply means that for this particular moment in time, you have decided to focus your energy. You have decided to put your mind on something positive. And so again, I want to remind you, if you are feeling distressed, if you're feeling in despair, turn on some music. Go ahead, read 1 Samuel 16, starting at verse 14, and take it all the way down to verse 23. Read those verses and learn how music calms the spirit, soothes the soul, and leads you back to that solace of comfort that you were seeking. So until then, I am Avalori from Caregiver Zen, and I'll see you guys the next time.